Hey there YouTube, it's time for another garden tour. Let's take a look at what's growing. First bit, I have my melon trellis. Still leaning. I did see some squash bugs here earlier today, so it means I have some pests. I'm thinking I should probably go through and trim out all of these leaves that have, I know tomatoes, it's blights, some type of fungus. Bugs can spread disease, so I'm thinking I want to clean those up. I do have a new sprouts from the original plants. This is my cicada melon, so I am loving that. So I'm going to go through, clean stuff out, try to trim, clean up. My plan is to lean this forward and put stakes behind it, so it's not quite leaning so much, but let's see what we have. So we have a few cicada melons actually, and I have not been hand pollinating lately because I've been doing a lot of overtime at work. So I have one there, one over here, and it's been really hot, so watering with my schedule has been on the inconsistent side, so you can see that they're shaped a little funny. But we are supposed to be getting some good rain this week, and I'm hoping that'll help just even it out. This is my Madura melon, and I do have a beautiful Radu melon here, just looking amazing. Little lopsided again, probably just because of inconsistent watering, but it should even itself out. And then this has to get a little bit more orangey, orange and green color, a little bit bigger before it's ready to harvest. And I have another one. This is what they look like when they're small, just like a little fuzz ball. So I'm excited about that. More melons coming, yay! My tomatoes that I started earlier in the season finally have flowers. It only took like 6 months. Almost, not quite 6 months. Yeah. Because I started the seeds in February, so we're in July, so 5 months for tomatoes, which is crazy. And the little Dr. Witchies is still just hanging out. But they're living. Figure something out next year to just get them to grow a little better. My basil's doing amazing. I did a big harvest of this last week, and I made basil pesto, but I used pistachios instead of pine nuts. Typically I like to use sunflower seeds because they make it just a creamier flavor, but it's looking really, really good. Nice and fluffy, and I just go in and pick these cones off. Let me get that out of the way. I pick these cones off so that it doesn't go to flower, keeps it bushing out. Doing really good. My tomato plant is still just hanging on. Got a couple red tomatoes there, and it's still growing, but it's not looking great. Last year it had broken over in a really bad storm that we had, so we're not quite there yet. These are my purple Russian tomatoes, still growing tall. This one has some areas that aren't doing so good, and I just snap those off so that they don't spread to the rest of the plant, because I'm just trying to keep it doing well. There we go. But it also has flowers. No fruit yet, but it's also a little hot. My dill's doing really well. I'm trying to go to seed, but I'm just picking it off so that I have fresh dill for pickling. Lemon cucumbers are looking pretty good. These I also have to trim up and just get rid of some of these dead spots. I do have a, what do you call it, lemon cucumber. Stop brain farting. I have one, here it is, right back there. I'm trying to hand pollinate when I see them, but I haven't been doing a very good job just because of my schedule. This sunflower was absolutely so pretty, and it has finished up, so I'm gonna try cutting off the sunflowers heads and see if maybe it'll keep producing. jalapeno plant hasn't made much for jalapenos lately, but it does have some new growth. I think a lot of that is just the heat. Green beans are doing great. I had a good harvest of green beans, and just look at all these guys. They look so good. My eggplant is hanging out there and back. It's growing tall, no flowers yet. Green beans continuing. This is my other jalapeno plant. Got 3 jalapenos off this last week, and it has flowers. It's looking really big. I have to pick some okra. The okra is getting a little big, but we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's looking good. Sorry, someone's driving by in a 4-wheeler. My bush Goliath is looking pretty good. Getting tall, no flowers, it's just too hot. I need to stake it. And then this is my Black Beauty zucchini, looking good. I'm not sure if it's dirt or bug eggs. Might be squash vine borers. They've been really bad this year based on the Houston Facebook groups for gardeners. So we'll see. And then my Tokyo cucumbers are just getting wild. These really need a taller trellis, so that'll be goals. But I've got one guy over here, and I had another last week that I pickled, and they're making about a pint-sized jar full of pickles, each individual cucumber, because they get nice and big. Another jalapeno plant, smaller, but has flowers. My serrano pepper plant's getting really yellow. I think I overwatered it earlier in the week, just trying to water really deep. And then my cucamelon is definitely taking over. I am getting little cucamelons on it, so let me see if I can find one for you. Like here's one here. So there are little cucamelons, but I'm not getting the female and the male's flowers being open at the same time. So that's been the difficulty that I've had so far. Hopefully that will change. I did top them, so I break off the tops of the ends. Like I haven't done this one, but this is kind of the end that's still growing. And I just kind of pinch it off like that. And it helps it to spread out horizontally instead of just vertically. And then I have my golden zucchinis are just looking terrible. The leaves are really serrated. They're not really full leaves. So I don't know if it got hit with squash vine borers really easily. I don't know if it's because it's really hot. So I'm just kind of letting it figure out what it wants to do. There's my helper. Let's take a look at the flower bed really quick. I have some new zinnias. So those are looking pretty. This dahlia has a couple more buds. I have a surprise gladiola coming up. My echinacea is not doing so hot. So, I'm not really sure why. Don't know a bunch about it. I am going to try to deadhead a little bit better and see if that helps. If you know anything about echinacea, reach out, let me know. These are just like the prettiest color. Some more, they're getting really tall. But to figure out if I put a stake on either side and some twine between just to hold it up, especially with windy storms. But I like it. I'm just waiting for the bees and butterflies to come. Hi, buddy. I have I still have some flowers on the kumquat tree, but I do have a bunch of little kumquats. They won't be ready till probably January, and there is like a wasp there. Stay away from me. And these dahlias are looking a little rough. I think it's the heat. I did find what looked like an asp. It's a really fuzzy caterpillar on them. Took it off, but not with my hands because they can sting really bad. There are buds, so just kind of hanging out, trying to be as consistent as I can watering, but the heat and the pots might be just stressing it out. Mint's doing great. Basil here is doing great. I actually harvested a bunch from here too, and it's starting to make more broader leaves because of harvesting the tops. Lavender's mostly died back for the season. because of the heat. Rosemary is a Goliath. Chives are there. Half of the parsley died. Thyme's doing great. And then these are my sunflowers here. Look how awesome they look. So excited. So definitely doing more sunflowers. Gonna look into other varieties of dwarf sunflowers, especially ones that might be similar to a zinnia where they kind of cut and come again, and just get more seeds, because then I can keep planting them and get more rounds. So that's how everything's looking. I hope you enjoy the tour and have a great day.